there are many critics, right? Many critics, reviewers, influencers who have their expert opinion and they go around reviewing everything. I mean everything. They review parties, food, makeup, underwear, sports, you name it, they do it. And they all do it for free. They spend their time reviewing things and giving their opinion, and you know, the only reason they do it is because they get a free meal. I mean, if I asked any of them to make me a scrambled egg, it'll taste like my shoe. You to join us as we taste some of the so-called best and the worst and the in-betweens of Colombo and give you a really honest, real opinion. So do join us, because we really will give you the good, bad, the ugly, the in-between and everything on what there is to eat in Colombo. So we decided to check out this new restaurant. Well, not exactly new, but it's called The Flow. God knows what's flowing in there. But The Flow is located at Jaic Hilton. So for those of you familiar with Jaic Hilton, it's located down off Union Place in the hub of Colombo, sort of like the commercial district. And so Jaic is kind of famous for its food and famous for its restaurant. So The Flow before was the Union Bar and Grill Room, which we used to patronize and love really a lot. I mean, it had some awesome strawberry margaritas, the frozen ones, so good, so good. Anyway, so we decided to check out The Flow to see what's flowing through The Flow. So we went there on a Saturday night at 7 p.m. Just not a cat in there, not a cat. Right, so we were the first ones there, but it's a nice place. In terms of the logo, nothing really much to say. It's just a font. It says The Flow. I have no idea why they call it The Flow. Like I said, there's no explanation for it, so who the hell knows? Who the hell cares? So anyway, there's us on a Saturday night, not a cat in there, and we go check out The Flow at Jaic. So in terms of ambience at The Flow, there is nothing flowing about the ambience. So it's a nice big airy space. There's dim lighting, so it sort of gives you that sort of romantic illusion that there is really nothing romantic in there, because when you go in there, it's sort of like a all-day dining restaurant in a big hotel. So it gives you that kind of feel. So there isn't really a nice homey feel about it. It's just a restaurant feel, you know, a restaurant feel. Boring. Sorry. Yeah, so in terms of ambience, it's okay. Not my favorite, not the best, but it's okay. It's like an all-day dining restaurant in a hotel. So in terms of what they had to offer, so their menu. So we decided let's stick to the a la carte menu. So we asked the guy to bring us an a la carte menu, and he was very sweet. So this like, you know, young server came along with his iPad and proceeded to show us the a la carte menu. So I must say they had quite an extensive a la carte menu, very impressive. They had starters, they had soups, they had mains, which are the usual Western mains. Then they had a lot of Japanese stuff, which I kind of didn't want to go through because it's not a Japanese restaurant and I wasn't too interested. They had Sri Lankan mains, which is a bit funny. It seemed like bat curry to me, you know, bat curry fancified. You know, it sounds really exciting when you say kalupul pork curry with like some local roti. Yeah, something to that effect. So I was like, oh, screw it. Anyway, they had Sri Lankan mains, they had Italian mains, and a pizza section. So menu-wise, I must say very extensive. Even the desserts were quite, I mean, not a lot, but quite a good selection. So in terms of a menu, it's good for a restaurant like that. So we decided to go with the flow of the a la carte menu. Price-wise, the flow was going, I think, along a flow, because there were many price ranges, but they were not exorbitant. I must say I was very impressed with our bill. It wasn't, for the spread we had, it wasn't a ridiculous amount at all. It was quite reasonable, not cheap, but not exorbitant and not over expensive either. So I would say value for money, good pricing, and if you want to go there and enjoy a hearty meal, the a la carte menu is the way to go. If we had that buffet was priced a little high, and really that spread didn't look too inviting to me. So I would suggest you check out the a la carte menu, because the prices there were really competitive and it was really quite reasonable. Price wise, the flow was going with the flow, but it is value for money. So we were greeted with this welcome drink by this very sweet server boy. I told you, he was very sweet. And he said it's a welcome drink. So we asked, oh, what is it? It looked like a brown liquid, and you know, it deceivingly looked rather interesting. And he said it's a tamarind juice. So we were like, yeah, tamarind juice. Oh, let's check it out. And oh my God, it was I just died one sip and it's like, ugh. It was like a saccharine rush. Sugar syrup, I think sugar cane met tamarind, and they had a baby. And it was this awful juice. Oh, it was terrible. It really, really was quite awful. So I think one sip is all that welcome drink got from me. So they offered us a nice cocktail menu, drinks and cocktail menu, and out of their cocktail menu I decided to select from their house specials, because these are what they had created, a cocktail called Alia. Alia, not Alia, not the elephant, Alia. So Alia was interesting because Alia had local arak, pineapple juice, passion fruit juice, and grenadine syrup. So this lovely cocktail turned up with a maraschino cherry on the side, and I have to tell you, I'm a sucker for maraschino cherries, though of course they're so artificial it's not even funny. But anyhow, so this lovely cocktail turned up, and they gave it with a paper straw. I was very impressed. I must say, for a big hotel chain, usually who can't be bothered about, you know, being environmentally friendly or, you know, sustainable, who gives a damn, you just dump everything into the ocean. They offered me this paper straw, so points to them, hats off to them. So anyway, so this cocktail, so I took the paper straw, very impressed, chucked it into the drink and just took a slurp up, and dear God, I got an entire gulp of grenadine. Ugh. Gosh, I died. So then I realized there's a wooden stirrer in there. Oh, silly me. So I stirred it nicely. Chuck, chuck, chuck. And then it was really nice because the passion fruit juice came out nicely. The pineapple, I think, was lost somewhere. I really didn't taste too much of that. And it was nice to keep sipping. But see, sadly, after a point, I got like a funny aftertaste after a while. You know, arak has this sort of like aftertaste, like, you know, like that real drunken mudukku kind of toddy gone mad, you know, gone a bit wonky kind of aftertaste, like, you know, it was disappointing after a point. So I felt a little betrayed. You know, it's like you meet a really hot guy who with halitosis, and when he opens his mouth you just die. So it was a bit like that. So the start that we decided to have was the deconstructed blue water prawn and tomato cocktail. Deconstructed. So when the starter came, it had a deconstructed prawn. Actually, a deconstructed prawn. The head was off. I mean, what the hell? So it should have been called decapitated. Anyhow, so we got served this rather elaborate dish, you know, with this massive lagoon prawn. I was quite impressed. Nice big fellow. And some funny mousse rising out of him. A little bit of, I don't know, garlic bread, like a sliver of it put on top. It looked really nice, really fancy. And it was lying on a bed of like this red, thin kind of thing. I had no idea what it was. Prawn, I tried the prawn itself. I wasn't too impressed because it had no flavor. I mean, honestly, a prawn that big, something had happened. And the mousse, I had no idea what that mousse was. I didn't even want to ask after the prawn because it's just funny. But it was lying on this bed of red, like this thin red sliver. And I, for the life of me, could not figure out what the this thing was. And then I asked that lovely sweet waiter boy. I think I sent him about 10 or 15 times to find out what was in the food, but who cares? Poor guy had no clue. But he went and asked the chef. He was good enough to do that. You know, good that he did that. And he came back and told me it's red bell pepper. I was so impressed. Impressed on one side, a little surprised on the other, because I wasn't too thrilled with the flavor. See, with that nice concoction with the cilantro, this tasteless prawn, that mousse, that weird sliver of garlic bread, and then this bed of, I don't know, like obscured, you know, like a red carpet of bell pepper. Just really, for me, the flavors didn't come together. It was like in isolation, and they were all doing their own thing and not figuring it out, you know. So like sort of people in a complicated relationship, you're running on parallel lines, but you never meet anywhere. So this prawn cocktail was unfortunately a little bit like that. And I was wondering where the hell the tomato was. Because this was deconstructed prawn cocktail and tomato. The tomato was MIA. So next we decided to try a rather interesting soup. I just went straight to it because it was cream of murunga soup with garlic roast pang. Man, I was really curious to try it out. You know, the latest trend these days is moringa. Everyone's having moringa, good old moringa. So anyway, this soup arrived. I mean, I was expecting a good old hearty roast pang, you know, roast pang and like a nice soup. I thought it would come in a very rustic preparation, but no, we had to go all foreign and Western in our cuisine and delivery. So out came a little platter with 3 little kuppi on it. I had no idea what the hell they were until when it was placed in front of me. Of course, this cream of moringa was like this green, sort of looked a bit like hatavariya kanda, you know, morning kanda, a bit like that, looked like that. And in the middle were 2 tiny bits of roast pang. I mean, honestly, when you say garlic roast pang, I expected a hearty garlic roast pang. Okay, doesn't matter, they are rather stingy on the portions. And on the other side is this green paste. I had no idea what it was, looked henna dodgy, right? Anyhow, so I decided to try it out. So first the moringa soup, moringa, whatever. And it had no taste. I mean, honestly, you get usually moringa taste. This is extremely slight. Nothing to really talk about. The garlic bread, roast pang was slathered also in some funny green stuff, right? So I didn't know what the hell this green was. So I called that nice waiter boy and I was like, what is this? Is it karapincha? And he said, yes, curry leaves. I'm like, curry leaves is karapincha, yes. So this was a karapincha paste, and actually that bread dipped in the karapincha paste was really good. That was nice. But I, for the life of me, could not find the garlic. Maybe it went for a walk or it went with the flow. So there was no garlic in there. So overall, it sounded good. It tasted average. after this wonderful indulgence in the starters, soups and all that, we went for the mains and had a lobster ravioli with tomato and fresh basil. So when the dish arrived, it came in one of those, those big bokuto plates, those things that try to look fancy, but it was quite a hearty portion. And there was parmesan sprinkled on top, rather lavishly, not stingily. Quite impressive. And so I took the first bite into the ravioli and I tasted a lump of lobster meat, salt and pepper, and forgot to be flavored with anything else. So it was a lump of salty, peppery lobster with a tomato aftertaste. Good grief, it was really nothing much because I think they had put clumps of the lobster meat with pepper. There was just pepper in it, for sake. You don't ruin lobster. Lobster is such a luxury, such a great thing to work with. And you can really, something simple like butter would have been fine, but no, it was full of pepper and it was like an assault on my senses. It was abuse. Abuse of the lobster and abuse of my poor senses. So it really wasn't good, and the tomato and the basil, I mean, that just did nothing for it, because this ravioli with this goulier, this lump of lobster inside was just such a disappointment. I couldn't eat anything more than 2 or 3 of it. It was just really bad. It was. So we also ordered another main to get over the disappointment of that poor lobster ravioli. We ordered a barbecue pork spare ribs with crunchy cabbage and apple salad. I don't know why crunchy cabbage, but yes, anyway. So we were served, my God, with a platter, with like a cutting board of this massive portion of ribs. Like, oh my God, okay, but it was quite a hearty portion, and along with this sort of coleslaw looking salad. It was like coleslaw, okay? So it's this crunchy cabbage and apple. Good damn coleslaw. Anyway, so the spare ribs, pork spare ribs, are actually really good. It had a nice barbecue sauce slathered on it, and it was not too hard or anything, so it was tasty. I wish I could have taken my hands and just gnawed on it, yum yum, but I couldn't do that there. We had to maintain appearances, so we must be a little posh, little bit. Anyway, so that was really good, but of course they had flung on some cilantro, coriander leaves on top, and I bit into one while eating the spare rib, and it gave a really horrid taste, right? I don't know what the hell that was. I think garnish went a bit wrong. They shouldn't have bothered garnishing spare ribs. And who garnishes spare ribs? That thing is just a good hunk of meat. You just grab it and you eat it, You don't go with frills, no? You get a good hunk of meat, yeah. So that was unnecessary, but it was really good overall. And then to complement it, we ordered a side of grilled vegetables, because I thought, let me get in my veggie intake in the whole process as well. And dear God, this blackened grilled thing came along, slathered in oil, and really nothing much to talk about. It looked like limp and flaccid, Flaccid, yes. So it really was not at all impressive. So, but the coleslaw, crunchy cabbage and apple salad, the AKA coleslaw, was quite decent. I mean, I'm not a huge coleslaw fan because I'm not too hot on just mayonnaise flung in with everything. And this is just a typical coleslaw taste. So I guess it just complements the spare ribs. It's a good, how shall I say, meeting of opposites, and the plus and the minus meet, they kind of like create like this nice friction. So yeah, so this is a bit like that. But yeah, those spare ribs are good. And actually that nice waiter boy, he's one who recommended it to me. I was contemplating on the belly pork, but he said, no, try the spare ribs. So good recommendation. So finally, the best part of the meal, or my favorite part, dessert. From their choice of about 7 or 8 items, they were rather interesting. So I was in 2 minds, should I have 2 desserts, should I have 1? But no, I was being greedy, okay? I'm greedy like that. So I thought, no, let's stick to 1. And 1 item caught my eye because it was called Endemic Lovers. God knows what's so endemic about these lovers. But it was a pandan coconut creme brulee. That's right, you got it right. Pandan. Rampe? A good old rampe. Pandan coconut creme brulee. With gingerbread and coconut ice cream. And of course, so we ordered this, and my God, we were waiting. And I asked that nice waiter boy, where is the dessert? And he said, it's on the way. And we were waiting for the bloody dessert. Okay, so finally it came. And I must say, the wait was worth it, because, oh my God, it was so good. I took the spoon and I cracked into the brulee, the flambéed, like the caramelized sugar on top and dug into this creamy, rich, doubly textured creme brulee, and it tasted so good, and there were like little green bits in it. So I was like, okay, this is supposed to be pandan, but I asked that nice little boy again, what is this? Go and ask the chef and come. So he went running along, and he went and asked, and he came back and said, ma'am, it's pandan. It's pandan. So I'm like, ah, rampe. So, oh my God, it was so good. So good. I was really impressed. And then the coconut ice cream was on top, and that with the creme brulee was really good. And then I saw this lovely gingerbread, and I took a bite of it, and dear God, it was awful. It was so awful. It was like a pankade, like some, you know, some old gingerbread. I mean, must be from last year's Christmas gingerbread stock or whatever. Ah, it was awful. So I just dismissed that onto a side and focused on that lovely creme brulee. So rich, so good. And I'm sure they put some lime in there because it had that sort of like slight tangy kind of flavor coming in. And the coconut ice cream, and that was like a lovely compliment. So it was a really good dessert, and I'm really glad we chose it. Overall, the flow at the Jaic Hilton was, I would say, a very pleasant experience. I must say, I'm used to going there for the buffet, and usually people assume the buffet is the best thing to try out, but I would tell you, you need to check out that a la carte menu because it was very extensive, number one, impressive. The food wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't bad either. So I would say the food is average. Some items were good, like that dessert. Endemic lovers, God knows what the hell those endemic lovers were up to, but it was a damn good combination. So it has its good and bads. I would say it has its rises and lows. So those of you who are adventurous, please go out and do check out that a la carte menu. The buffet, to what we saw, was not impressive, but maybe there are other days where it's good or bad. So since it seems to be like a yo-yoing trend, maybe some days it's good, some days it's bad. So I would say just check it out, and also catch us again as we go check out another restaurant, and I get a little greedy there and check out more stuff and more food and give you an honest to goodness, bloody real opinion of what is out there to eat in Colombo these days.